Lewis Hamilton makes Ferrari admission after Australian GP. No one was expecting that going into Sunday's Formula One season opener in Melbourne. Ferrari were expected to dominate given their winter testing performances. However, when it came to qualifying, Hamilton and his teammate Valtteri Bottas sped away from the rest of the field, locking out the front two spots on the grid. Whilst Bottas went on to win the inaugural Grand Prix of the season, Hamilton finished second ahead of Red Bull's Max Verstappen. Ferrari drivers Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc ended up 5th and 6th respectively, with Vettel more than half a minute from Hamilton. But Hamilton insisted he was surprised by the result, and suggested he had Ferrari as firm favourites for the race. No one was expecting to have a gap like that when we came into the weekend, he admitted. What I was shown and led to believe was that, from the analysis we were given, that they were ahead, and obviously that wasn't the case during this weekend. I don't know what their problem was, but I am sure they will come back strongly in the next races, so we have to stay on our toes. Hamilton's Mercedes suffered issues during the race as he was hit with balance problems, believed to be as a result of debris following Daniel Ricciardo's first lap error, which saw him lose his front wing on the pit straight. And he told the Press Association that he would be heading to the Mercedes factory in Brackley, Northamptonshire, to rectify the issue. The 34-year-old continued, "I'll go back to Europe straight away and I'll be back in the factory in the week, and by the time I get there, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday, I'll have a much better understanding of the damage that was on the car. I'll understand about the start and understand how to try and correct that for the next one." Race officials found debris from Hamilton's car after the race, and Hamilton said he was relieved that the problem had potentially been solved. He added, "Potentially, the issue with the car came from Ricciardo's debris, and it's been quite a sensitive part of the floor, and actually that's quite encouraging to me because we work very hard to get the balance right. I felt like I had good pace this weekend, and we did our normal job in terms of working hard on getting a good setup. And then all of a sudden the car was completely different compared to the formation laps, and what we had in the long runs." Next news: neighbors spotted Michael Schumacher at £26 million Mallorca villa to celebrate 50th birthday. Updates about Michael Schumacher have been few and far between since the Formula One legend's skiing accident in 2013. Schumacher was skiing with his son, Mick, in the French Alps when he hit his head on a rock and sustained a traumatic brain injury. He went into a medically induced coma after the accident, and over the past 6 years has been receiving round-the-clock care at his home at Lake Geneva, Switzerland. Schumacher's family have wanted to keep their privacy in that time, but last year a relative revealed that he sometimes cries when he looks out of his window at the surrounding scenery. When you put him in his wheelchair facing the beautiful panorama of the mountains overlooking the lake, Michael sometimes cries, they told French magazine Paris Match. No one has seen Schumacher since his tragic skiing accident, nor does anyone really know what goes on inside his house. However, a new report from German magazine Bund claims he was spotted by neighbors spending time at his luxury £26 million villa in Mallorca earlier this year. Schumacher arrived by helicopter at Port d'Andratx for the Christmas holidays and also celebrated his 50th birthday there on January 3. Medical staff accompanied Schumacher to Villa Yasmin, which previously belonged to Real Madrid president Florentino Perez and has 2 swimming pools, a large garden and a helipad. Schumacher's condition remains relatively unknown, but it's nothing but good news that he was able to leave his Switzerland home to celebrate a landmark birthday with his family. Next news: Lewis Hamilton's body language has his former teammate Nico Rosberg worried. Lewis Hamilton's former teammate Nico Rosberg has described the Brit's attitude to the mechanical failures which saw him qualify in just 14th as something he'd never seen from him before. The German enjoyed a fierce rivalry with the four-time world champion, spanning between 2013 and 2016, when the two drove for Mercedes. Having battled so closely with the Brit, Rosberg is perhaps in a great position to comment on his former friend, and his latest body language is thought to be of concern. "This is something I'm a bit worried about," Rosberg said while working in his pundit role at Sky Sports. "I've never seen that body language from him before. We saw it for the first time at Silverstone, and now again for a very long time there, disbelief, or something." Of course it's tough, but this is a new body language. I've never seen that from Lewis. A last-gasp effort from Hamilton's closest championship rival Sebastian Vettel secured pole ahead of Valtteri Bottas. "This is such a huge setback," Rosberg continued. "Because Vettel is out there, the car is flying, he is odds-on favorite to win the race, and Lewis again has to start from somewhere back. So that's going to be a very difficult day tomorrow for him." According to the former champion, Hamilton's troubles came as a result of going off track with speed at turn 1, running over the curbs. "To me it looked like he made a mistake at turn 1, went really wide, and he had some big hits because he was off the track there, and right after that the problem started. So I think probably the gearbox broke with those big impacts, and that's it." Hamilton's desperation to continue was made evident as he tried to push the stricken W09 back to the pits. He spoke about the incident after returning to the paddock. "I didn't really understand exactly what had happened, so in my mind I was thinking, get the car back to the track, but they asked me to turn the car off," Hamilton explained. "I jumped out and wanted to push it back, but it was so far to go. I saw there was leaking oil and I knew that I had to stop and let the marshals put the car away somewhere. I have the will to not want to give up. I just want to keep pushing." A blistering flying lap from Vettel was met with huge cheers from his home crowd at Hockenheim, with the German now heavy favorite to be stood on top of the podium at the end of Sunday's race. Next news: Horner on the Red Bull seat, Pierre had more potential than Sainz. Christian Horner has defended his decision to promote Pierre Gasly over Carlos Sainz into the Red Bull seat left by Daniel Ricciardo. Last season Red Bull were left in a difficult position as they had an empty seat and very little top drivers to fill it. Horner believes that his team made the right decision in choosing Gasly over Sainz due to the potential that they saw in him. Sainz was racing for Renault last season, but he moved to McLaren in a quest to join the fastest midfield team. Horner stands by his decision to choose Gasly but still praises the talent of Sainz. "Carlos is a talented driver and I am happy to see him continue his career in F1 with McLaren. But we had the feeling that Pierre had more potential for us," said Christian Horner to F1only.fr. "Age does not matter, although it's true that I feel old, because the age of the two pilots added up does not reach mine, whereas I am one of the youngest team bosses." Max Verstappen has already demonstrated an excellent level of performance in the second half of the 2018 season, which is a great strength. Pierre, meanwhile, has a long way to go. "We've promoted him after just a year at Toro Rosso, maybe a little earlier than expected, but he has the full support of the team and is very good at a multi-season experience in the junior team." Many believe that Gasly is too inexperienced for such a top seat, but the success of Verstappen must show that younger drivers have the ability to succeed in Formula One. Next news, back to the factory for Lewis Hamilton in order to investigate Australia issues. Lewis Hamilton is to return to the factory to help investigate performance issues in his Mercedes at the Australian Grand Prix. The five-time world champion lit up Saturday's qualifying session to take his 84th career pole, but his teammate Valtteri Bottas got the better start at Albert Park and cantered to the checkered flag. It was the fourth consecutive second-placed finish in Melbourne for Hamilton, who suffered damage to the floor of his W10 on lap 4, leading to a loss in downforce. But the Briton said the glass was half full and the team had positive things to take from the race. He said, "I'll go back to Europe straight away and I'll be back in the factory in the week, and by the time I get there, I think it's Wednesday or Thursday, I'll have a much better understanding of the damage that was on the car. I'll understand about the start and understand how to try and correct that for the next one." Bottas claimed his first win since the 2017 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and earned the newly reintroduced bonus point for the fastest lap on a dominant weekend for Mercedes. The Finn was able to pass Hamilton ahead of the first corner and set about making the most of the clear track, while the Ferraris of Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc finished 4th and 5th respectively and were almost a minute behind Bottas. Hamilton was surprised by Ferrari's struggles but expects the Italian team to quickly step their game up. He added, "No one was expecting to have a gap like that when we came into the weekend. What I was shown and led to believe was that, from the analysis we were given, that they were ahead, and obviously that wasn't the case during this weekend. I don't know what their problem was, but I am sure they will come back strongly in the next races, so we have to stay on our toes." Red Bull's Max Verstappen took the third place on the podium after passing Vettel and went on to push Hamilton for second place until the Dutchman took a trip over the grass with 9 laps left. It was the first podium spot for a Honda-powered car in just under 11 years, the last one coming at the British Grand Prix in 2008. And Hamilton said it would be awesome to see how the competition between Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull would play out in 2019. "The Red Bulls are there with us and I think we are going to have a really great battle between the three of us," he said. The season continues in Bahrain in a fortnight's time, and Hamilton said the preparations would start straight away. When asked how he saw the season panning out, he said, "I've been here a long time and I've never known after the first race. Usually after the first 4 races you get a better idea of where we all stand. It could be like this for 4 races or it could be more scattered. I don't have a crystal ball so I can't tell you, but I can assure you that we are going to be pushing onwards and upwards from here."